One.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, 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 welcome to Sunday Live Chat. Here we are, 6 year anniversary of Patreon. Got my special guest here, Mr. Scully. Scully, welcome. Good to see you.
Kisses, everyone. Kisses, kisses.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Everyone, happy to see. It's good to see you, Scully. And there's I see Dre and Eric and all you guys out there, Jessica, Winter, Evan, all of our, hey, Letitia's there, Tarantula. Yeah, so welcome back. And 6 years is kind of blowing my mind. Um, it's kind of gone so fast in some ways, but also not that fast in some ways. It's really weird to kind of like equate the time and everything. But first, I don't know, man. I was just talking to you a bit about this, Scully, a second ago about uh, have you ever had reverse culture shock? And it's a weird thing. We were just talking about that, how it's like, I think like the very first time I went to Japan, I had the worst culture shock because I had to go live in a family and I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't even, like I was 17 years old. Really, really, really tripped me out. And now when I get back there, it's almost like medicines. Like you basically, I don't know, somehow it normalizes. Maybe it's because I typically don't smoke weed there or
That's
things
interesting.
to that effect. And clear out your head or do a lot of more. We were averaging about 7 to 8 miles a day walking, I figure, which is way more than we do here. I mean, it's something that anyway, so I got back and since then, LA's been playing this like Silent Hill sort of game on us lately. Scully, we've got all of your doom and gloom weather down here in LA. How's San Francisco right now?
Well, I've actually been inside the theater. I've been inside the theater today since about 8 o'clock, so I haven't actually set up foot outside. There's rumors that it's raining here, which is
Raining.
blowing me away. Yeah,
Oh, well, wouldn't that just be typical?
yeah, and I'm inside, not able to go outside and enjoy it.
You know, all I can say is I always think that when people come here for a vacation, because we've been home for a week, and we're thinking that if someone came here for a vacation, they might be kind of disappointed because they expect, that it's going to be sunny and, we're on our way to the beach with our swimsuits and it's not. It's like 60 degrees and it's cloudy and it's been that way for the better part of I remember this happened last year. We call it June gloom, but June gloom
Exactly.
lasted all the way through July. And we're thinking, wait, there's going to be no summer this year here. So it has definitely changed in LA.
I can do without summer. I like it. I like that weather. That's my ideal weather.
I like it too.
Ooh, look at that. How do
And
I get one of those?
well, that's just it. 72 months, it says right on there. You can see that it's the lovely Tiger Lily and designed by the illustrious Simon Paul, the guru, the great of all, the man with all the talent, basically. And Simon Paul, we love you. And this patch goes out immediately to any of you that has been with me the entire time. Would you be surprised how many people there are? And I'm sorry, but these people are on like what's known as the gift levels. I guess you might call it the upper epsilons of on the site. But basically, on my Patreon, I basically give the chats and videos and everything to everyone, and it's really up to people if they're generous or they want gifts such as this. Um, there's some sort of encouragement back for me to say, okay, well, if you're going to do that and support on that level, then we're going to make a bunch of patches and give you one every 6 months. And so Simon has been designing all these really cool patches. There's the 66 month. Oh, 66, kind of scary. The 60 month is very Star Trekky. Let's see here. The 54 month is kind of like,
Whoa. Ooh, I like that one.
yeah, you know what? And they're really all really fabulous in the sense that they're woven patches, they're embroidered, and tons of killer designs. This is the 42 month. 36. There's like when I released Resonance, that was the 30 month. See, so that doesn't seem that long ago to me, 30 months. This is when we went through COVID, really the start of COVID, 24 month. Then there was the Fisherman, Neko Inochi,
Ooh,
that's
that's a good one.
18 months. That's super cool. This is the 12 month. And the 6 month one is typically the subconscious patch. And it used to come with a basal patch too, but we become very limited supply of these. These were made a long time ago, and
That's
they're,
embroidered?
yes, it is embroidered patch.
Fuck. Fuck, look at
Super,
that.
it's got surface dimensions and everything, but big up to Simon Paul again for all these fantastic designs. There's also a Boris patch. It's kind of cool. But what would we be
Remember
here?
Scully?
What would I be? Oh, Scully's at work, so he might have to go and talk on his radio. So
I'm busy right now. Can it wait?
in the meantime, um,
Sorry.
to take a look quickly at the wonderment of Simon Paul's sort of input to this channel over 6 years. And I remember, yeah, it did start out with the idea of images in Vogue, and then chatting with some friends. Obviously, Chris Corner, Chris Mackey, and Mark Spivey, Martin Atkins, Soraya, Paul Barker, Ryan Moore, Danny Carey, all sorts of the crew, the Subcon Orchestra crew, we call ourselves, talking about remembering Dwayne. Remember that, Scully? Was pretty heavy
Yeah, that one's.
of Dwayne's passing. Can you believe that's already 4 years ago? It's kind of nuts. Lowell Tolhurst, Don Gordon, getting into like other people from the Nine Inch Nails crew, Chris Vrenna, Charlie Clouser, the guys from Portion Control, Tim Gore. I was really like when I was like get to the point where I started like interviewing Nigel Ayres from Nocturnal Emissions, and the
Malander, man.
and the Bourbonese Quack stuff. I was Stephen Malander.
Oh,
Really getting, I think, like nervous during this period because of all of there's a lot of like, I don't know, I got exceptionally nervous during those periods. And luckily, things sort of flowed for a while with friends and concepts and everything, with reuniting with A. Groom. And, finally my goal was actually here originally to talk with Jim Cummins because I had so many questions about the artwork and Jim's input to our whole history, as well as Stephen Gilmore and Simon Paul. That was my original intention for the Sunday live chat, was to talk with these guys about their art and about how they did it. But basically Stephen has always been kind of like internet bashful, and that's fine. But like it took me a while, you'll see, before I could get Stephen to figure out a way that he was going to be comfortable with it. But it wasn't until some people had returned twice, and maybe even sometimes going back into a way more personal world with people like Myra Davies, Scott Gerling, Frankie Verschuren, coming back to more of the Nine Inch Nails crew, Balax Pandey over there, drummer for Merzbow, all sorts of like really cool people, Paul Lemos from Controlled Bleeding. These are all some really, really fun things. Graham Lewis from Wire, of course, with Mark Spivey, we teamed together to do a couple of interviews that I found to be highly enjoyable, mainly because the pressure was off a bit to do it with Mark. But yeah, Graham Lewis and I never say his name, Jochen Arbeit from Unschlüsselige Neubauten, as well as I'm going to say my favorite interview that I was ever able to do on here was like the legendary John Fox. Everyone bow down to the legend. I mean, I can't say that there's somebody on my list. There's Stephen finally coming along. There's nobody on my list that when I spoke to John Fox, I thought like, well, who else could you speak to now? Well, I asked Gary Newman, and Gary's kind of bashful again. Maybe I can even though he does in other interviews, I think he's afraid of maybe what I might ask him. Because he's not much of he doesn't like to be, how do you say, go back in time and reminisce about things as much as my channel tends to do. Getting into the tour, documenting the whole tour history, both legs, and Scully popping in more regularly, becoming an instant hit with people.
Tony Randall.
Yeah, Tony Randall, So I think John Fryer called me the Kevin Letterman one day, and so Alex Randall. And then, it was really been fun is getting into the stories behind the albums. So many people have had, it's funny, you'll read something about, a song, and you'll be like, a super heavy Dwayne inspired piece was a song I wrote, or a song I wrote was a super heavy Dwayne piece. So I think it was time to sort of like put that down on record as to what songs came from where, et cetera, and how they were essentially made. And then the recreation of them to go out and do the tour. The tour was pretty well documented in that we found a place every week to do a live chat from. And it wasn't easy to sometimes figure out a good signal or a setup and stuff like that. Finishing the tour, of course, embarking on a new journey with Bill Lieb and Reese Fulber and the Subcon guys with Cyberactive. Project that I have been immensely proud of, especially to hear it in Japan. That really blew my mind. The final release of Brat, getting all those units out to everybody, and having that all sort of like said and done until we figure out when and how the next run will be, was very, very much a goal. I think I've said that on here, that was a major goal. Moving forward and working on of course, I had been working on the score with Eric Peterson and Neko Face for Silent Hill. Meeting up with Akira Yamaoka to do the chat was something that just the whole sort of world, the connection to Japan, and this time going to Japan and actually meeting with Akira really blew my mind. Like all of a sudden it was like, I don't know, it just blew my mind. You know what I mean, Scully?
Yeah, totally. The chats where we were talking about what part was Dwayne and what part was you. I think that was a really good thing that people to see how you guys were kind of gelling around that, what I call the golden era. It's something that I've witnessed, but I don't think many people understand how well you guys meshed. And I think that
it's odd how we met, and then we agreed to meet up in Tokyo, and here we are with Atsushi, my friend who translated. He speaks fairly good English, but
nice to meet you. Finally in person, here we are, and lovely Atsushi, Rihanna. Boss. Nice to see you guys again. Thank you for the meeting. Yes.
His smile is infectious. I have to say that to kind of like feel the warmth and he's just like a real person, really nice guy. But that was kind of mind-boggling. So, who are you working on today, Scully?
Girl in Red.
Who?
Girl in Red.
Girls in Red.
Singular. One girl in red.
Have you heard of that band that I sent you the link for?
No, I have not. I have not heard of.
What are they called again? Oh, I'm messing up on the name. Obitoke Beaver.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I was just gonna say Beaver, but
was sort of like a welcome surprise. I don't know. Sometimes if I can get shaken up by Otoboke Beaver. I think that means sort of like. Actually, I don't know the actual translation. If someone knows a translation to that, maybe they can shoot it our way. But that was kind of like a couple of things that I found that are really kind of mind-boggling, and I maybe recommended it on the last time. But if you guys have not seen this film by Takashi Miike called The Great Yokai War. It's kind of like blowing my mind in a major way. You can find it on Apple TV. I saw it in Japan on TV and it was like mind-boggling to me. Figured out where it was, and now that I'm back, it actually has English subtitles, but pretty mind-boggling. And it's kind of, I guess it's one of those films that someone doesn't tell you about, or you're not aware of it, then you're never going to hear about it. But yeah, so Otoboke Beaver and the Great Yokai War. So I found one thing that was interesting. One of the most interesting things about the journey was being able to go to a factory where the toy Boris is actually made. Basically, Mr. Boris. You maybe haven't seen them in person, but basically, yeah, they're articulated and so on. What I was able to do is go take a factory tour and take a video, which I'm going to show you here in a second. And Scully,
Yeah.
I know that you have maybe, I don't know, here, let me just see this first. Let's see what we got going here. Yeah, so we were taken to the Sikaluna factory, which was just outside of, I say, northwestern Tokyo. And we were witness to an actual facility where Boris is getting made.
That's a great photo.
Yeah, there's nothing better than taking Boris to Japan and getting some shots like that.
He
So,
looks very at home there.
yeah, he is very at home. The reason I show you the pictures first is because it doesn't show the entranceway to the non-assuming factory. But this is it here, the Sikaluna factory. And he's they're legendary toy makers, like
Look
in
at that.
making all sorts of goodies. And so when I arrived there, they'd already made one Boris. And we were able to sit there, and then they told us, by the way, we were taken there by Don Kratzer, who I owe a lot of thanks to. Don lives in Japan. He's lived there for 30 plus years and introduced us to this factory and this opportunity. And the reason it's here instead of Shirahama is there is more possibility here for us to do clears and marbles, like what you just saw, the marble texture. And here's Mr. Miyazawa here. He is the legendary Sikaluna. So it was an honor to go there and meet the whole crew and see what it's all about. This is Mrs. Miyazawa. She picked us up from the train station. It was incredibly, I will say, incredibly Showa style. So
Wait, did I just see a Boris in a packaging back there? Like a
yes, this
yeah,
is
yeah.
this is a Boris that's in Japan that lives at a restaurant that that is owned by the guy that owns Barai, Yukio, and he has a burger restaurant now. And there's a Boris up there. He has it up there.
Oh, so
Yep,
that a Boris comes in that packaging. I've never seen the
it does.
packaging
It
before.
does. It
Oh,
comes in full-on packaging. Yep.
oh fuck, that's cool.
And the head there is, well, actually, this is an amazing shot by Robert from Manic Images. And basically, the pieces that you saw, I actually send to a guy because he is an expert at the knife and basically cutting the surfaces to make sure that it's put together properly. If I try to do it, it will take me an hour to do each one. He can do them in minutes, but he's like got a perfect cut. Everyone in the business knows him to be the perfect cut man, so it's worth sending them to him to do. And that's every Basil and Boris, if you have one, was assembled by Robert. I have to sometimes do some fine little tunings, but Robert basically has it together. So
Well,
yeah,
I'd love to see a video of him doing that.
yes, I would too, because he's actually told me that he does well. If you ever cut the vinyl, it's not that easy, and so you obviously got to have a hot knife or some sort of X-Acto that is basically razor sharp. But a lot of people heat up the vinyl and then do it that way. But yeah, there's a couple of the other ones I collected while I was there. I'm really big into these guys right now. Don't Cry in the Morning from Hong Kong, as well as Grape Brain, which are from Nagoya. So two great new toy companies, as well as the legendary Punk Drunkers. But okay, let's. Would you like to do a factory tour, Scully?
I would love to.
Let's do it. And
Let's.
yeah, let's see if it works. And
Here we go.
here we go. And this is brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's, no, it's not. Okay, here we are. This is in the factory. And what's interesting is that it's an opaque vinyl. And you'll also see that the factory is, okay, this is the one thing that I note most of all, is it's very Showa style, as they say, which is one from, this could be like 25 years ago. Here's the molds. Basically,
Oh, wow. Look at that.
this is the molds. You can see this is the legs and the arms of Boris.
So all those molds are for Boris?
No, just four of them. He'll show each of them to you. Here is for the body. You can see the fisherman thing there. That whole mold is for the body.
Wow. Oh, dude, you've got to get that when they're done with it.
So they were quite expensive, actually. So they need them there to make it. Otherwise, this is old school style. The next two there are the heads, the Boris heads.
Oh, so many.
These two here going down. And then what Don is saying there is like, wow, I wonder why they made it into four molds. Usually, as you can see, a lot of toys are compiled down to less molds because it saves time. But what we're going to see here, which is kind of unbelievable, is that you'll see how much work it goes into making one single Boris. So I was kind of shocked that I'll post the rest of this one in its entirety, but let's skip forward to where he's beginning to pour here he is, he's beginning to pour the vinyl into the molds. And remember, this is for each one.
Is that hot?
Good question. I have to think that
That doesn't look like the
at this
liquid
point,
is hot.
I have to think it is not, but it will be going into, you'll see the stages that one is required to make one toy here. It's literally unbelievable. This is why they end up being as expensive as they are. Not that our toys are that expensive, but when a vinyl toy becomes collectible and rare, it's quite often because they've lost the molds or there's no ability to make more. So you can see the amount of work it's all hand done. This is how it's done in Japan for actual, so also for B. So then he's going to put it in here, and he's going to put it in a. It's kind of an oven. You can see up past him there. It's an oven that compresses it, like it's a compression oven. And he has to put all four of these. This is like for each one, remember. So he's going to put the molds into this oven here. Forgive the extended play. You can see here he's testing where it's going to go after that. So there's, I think, like three other dipping solutions. One is hot, one is cold, and one is like some sort of chemical bath. So he's letting it settle here. So if you've got a Boris out there, it went through this procedure.
So the molds nor the liquid look like they've been heated yet, right?
The molds what?
Have the molds been heated at that point? Everything is cold.
No, they were basically room temperature. This is the dipping solutions. You'll see as we go here. Hope people don't mind it taking its time there. You can see now, okay, I skipped the part where he put them in. So he's put all four in there, and you can see that it's like a combination of compression and the length of time. So what makes these guys the masters is there's a formula to this so that you don't get bubbles and so you don't get defects in the vinyl that's going to be in the mold. So what they did before is they had to work out exactly how long the piece would be in each section, which is again sort of like the way that, as I was saying, why did it move from Shirahama to Sikaluna? It's because these guys, for some reason, I don't know, it's not that Dennis can't do marbles and clears, it just he found it difficult with his setup to be able to achieve it. So whatever it is that they're doing, it's maybe a bit different. I have never been to Dennis's. Actually, Dennis's is pretty closed up, and most of these facilities are secret. They really don't probably want it to become too commercialized. So this is a special treat today that they allowed me to film this for you guys. So I think they're still looking at the timers, and remember, folks, this is for one Boris. This is just insane.
How many people are working on this at one time?
Well, here's this guy that poured the vinyl and basically is looking at his next stage of what he has to do, but he's just put the one run of Boris in there. And the guy to the right there is the master puller. So he's the guy that will take it from here, and he will put it into the solutions and put it into, well, you'll see, and eventually pull it out. And okay, so usually when I do a run of basil or Boris, it's all made in, oh, here we've skipped it being pulled out again and going into the next mold. So he pulled it out of there, and now he's putting it into the bath. He's got a specific amount of time, and then it goes into a different bath, again with the time. Here's ones that have come out. He's going to pour the excess vinyl out of there. He's pulled that out of there after it's been in the compression for its length of time. And then now puts that after time into the first bath. See, like again, a lot of their solutions are also kind of secret too. Because this is so old school style, it's kind of like a the tricks of the trade, shall you say? If you look up Sikaluna, I believe .com online, you can see the variety of toys they make. They make quite a ton, and known for some pretty radical ones. But yeah, again, let's just look at the amount of time this is for one Boris.
Yeah, and I noticed him keeping a keen eye on those timers on that pole.
I think it's pretty essential so that you don't get, a defective pull. Like, watch the pull as it's going to come up here.
No, I'm like, he's making this look real easy here. I'm sure it's not.
But the thing is that what blows me away is the time. So I was just about to say that when I make an order for basil or Boris, they'll usually ask, well, how many? And I'll order like 20 pieces. I don't think I've typically ordered more than, maybe at one time we did 40, but the most we've ever done is usually 20 to 25 pieces. And you can see now why, obviously it would take what appears to be a couple of days to make 20 or 25 pieces. A couple of days, can you imagine that? And then so when they come out of the molds here, basically they still have, as you see, that goes back into another solution over there. When it comes out of the molds here, they're not like the perfect parts. Here we go. Here's a pull. I believe this will be. Is that a leg? This is one leg. There you go. And another leg. So there's some legs.
God, that was like watching something being born.
Exactly.
This guy's like a midwife.
There's the arms.
Look at that. It's literally like watching a creature being born. Look at that little leg hanging out. birth canal.
I take it there's a certain, finesse to the pole too. So yeah, what I'm blown away is that there's four molds to make one Boris. So basically, it's a lot of work. Like okay, now another solution. Looks like he's
So
got one head there.
I don't see anything that's like hot. This looks like it's just air pressure and some sort of
No,
chemical
there
reaction,
there is
right?
heat involved with that injection oven. There's a well, that was a body.
It's, that's so wild just to watch that come out.
And that's what like I was about to say is that the pieces come out and they've got all this flashing around it. Like basically, it all has to be cut down to the size that what we would, when we assemble it. So basically, it goes from here where these guys are doing this, and it goes to, as I was saying, Robert, and then Robert will take all 25 pieces to one of the toys, and he'll cut away all the flashing and all the extra vinyl parts that you see are on the end there and such, on each piece. And he's an expert at that. So a lot of these guys I wouldn't want to say that this is something that, you could take on ourselves over here. This is like an old school Japanese art form, and huge respect to these guys for letting us see the process. But so there's it with all the flashing on it, and you can see an opaque clear. So that whole top part of the body gets cut off, I believe here. And when I did this, it was still pretty warm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What does that room smell like?
Um, pretty. Didn't smell that bad, did it? What about got you going?
Yeah, I've noticed that nobody's wearing any masks or goggles or anything. So I
So
mean, it's not like noxious like chemical smell.
no, I didn't notice it. Did you, Rihanna? Oh, she said that she felt it. I mean, she has a more sensitive sense of
Yeah.
smell than I have, though. Okay, there you go, folks. So there's for like one, and that's how long it took. And so we had one when we arrived, and then he made that one there. So I was allowed to leave with the two Boris, thanks to Mr. Don Kratzer there, aka Data Dub. And by the way, just quickly, you'll be able to see the painting side of where for their own toys here, the toys are transferred to this room, to this crew of people that are painting and assembling. The guy to the right there is assembling. That's their
Wow.
master assembler guy, and then all the painter guys here. So this is like a total old school Showa style Shikaluna vinyl factory tour here, and absolutely blew me away. Especially when you look at where the door where we entered when we went in, I was just like, I was thinking, wow, that's absolutely crazy. Very cool people too, super 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 sweet, kind, like anywhere you go in Japan. Scully, I figure the next time we go to Japan, your name should be on that list.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that myself. I couldn't believe like some of the videos you've been sending me. Now, it's like a dream that doesn't even look real.
Yeah,
And
it's like a different world in some ways, and I guess that's why it's hard to come home from it. But it's just I don't know. I find that every single time I come back from there, I have the same feeling. It's like, oh, there's something missing, it's like whatever. But this time more than any, I think Rihanna and I both said this time more than any, we felt as though we could live there. Usually by the time we leave there, we're like, I don't know. I love coming here, but I don't know if I could live here. But this time, really more so than ever. So this is in
so
Kabukicho here. If you watch Tokyo Vice, all these places are pretty much either Yakuza protected or run or whatever. And I know we talk about Barai a lot. So we're going to, oops, I think I unshared that there. So let me go back there and do that again. We're going to take a tour of Barai. How about that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So the story of Barai really is that Rihanna and I discovered it one night. Oh, by the way, this is the sex shop where you can actually buy the panties in the vending machine. True story.
Used, aren't they?
Yeah, used. Yeah, this is Barai. You can see.
Gross.
So we just discovered it one night, and there was no one in there. And we thought, wow, this is a great place. But believe it or not, when we walked in there, they were playing Skinny Puppy. Greater Wrong.
Never heard of them.
Video, the live video from the tour. And we sat down, and Rihanna pointed at the bartender and said, oh, by the way, that's him. And they were like, no way. And he was like, oh, yeah, it is him. So this is Barai. It's not a big place. And luckily, the night that I'm here, it's just us. You can see Atsushi, Rihanna, and Dijoto there. But it's a small room. It's smaller than most people can expect. But I've seen upwards of 30, 40 people in here.
Good God.
Yeah. And, we brought Danny Carey here. And I think that was most people I think I ever saw, sort of like huddled around Danny there. And they've since had a lot of bands visit there. By the way, you don't want to touch this cowbell or the cymbal. If you do, you got to buy a shot for the whole bar. And Mr. KO back there, he's like a new generation Barai bartender, and he's sweet, man. We got to know him quite well on this trip, and
you can smoke in the bar?
You can. Skinny Puppy. That's that night, 2013. There's Danny. Bunch of other bands.
Look at that.
So it seems to have earned. Oh, there's a Boris. It seems to have earned a reputation in Northern Europe. It seems like everybody that's in there is either from Sweden, Norway, or like you can't basically guess when other people come in, like where they're going to be from. Here's the bathroom and facilities back here. Look, it's not a big place at all, but it is comfortable though. And what's really good about it is when you get a bunch of, like, say, we've gone in there with like 6 or 8 of us, Bal and like Atsushi and like our, Elliot and our whole crew there, and basically feels like we can kind of take it over. And we start spinning the music that we request all the music, and they even remember the music that we request, so that basically the next time we don't even have to. But watch out for those Jaeger shots. If the Jaeger starts flowing, if someone hits the cowbell, I do not advise to take more than 1 or 2. This is DJ Otto, good friend of ours in Japan, who's also lived there plus 20 years now, and has a family there. Of course, you may be familiar with his music. Atsushi, I think I asked him here. Are you enjoying your visit to the legendary Barai? What is it that you love about Barai? It's the people, right? It's that family here. Family bar. Good DJ, too. Okay, folks. If you come to Barai, just remember, it's on the 2nd floor. Ah, konbanwa.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Kaya!
This is the owner, Yukio, and we've now had a long-standing relationship, and he spoils my butt. So big up to Yukio, Kaio, and Masu. There's the lovely Rihanna. And yeah, visit Barai and say hi from us if you go. And I'm sure you guys will have fun if you're in the Kabukicho area. Scully, what do you think? Does it look like a suitable place for you?
How much time do you spend when you're there at the bar? Like,
Uh,
are you there for like 3 or 4 hours closing it down?
Absolutely, some nights, yes.
Now,
Close it
I
down.
have
It
to,
stays open all night. It
I
stays
have
open, I
to,
think, until 5 o'clock in the morning. But the thing is, in Kabukicho, you can go out to get sushi at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's quite often what they'll do afterwards. So basically, no, we don't stay out that late. We this time we were leaving by 2, right?
Mhm.
1 or 2. So we go there by like 9 and and leave by 1 or 2. But I think I have to put it. I have to say, sometimes like if you don't have that big of a crew, like sometimes it's just Rihanna and I. It's kind of interesting because you will meet people there. It's the one place on earth where I guarantee you will talk to the people next to you, and you'll end up talking about where you're from. And
well,
99.9% of the time, it's people from Europe or from Australia or from somewhere. Now there's kind of been a few people that show up that live there, which is kind of weird, expats that basically I'm like, well, they're kind of like bragging like how well they speak Japanese or pasting kanji letters on people, and it's like kind of like why would you still go to a bar if you lived in Japan where a lot of like foreigners are at? You know, it seemed kind of weird, but
yeah.
nevertheless, it when we have all of our crew in there, there's nothing. I don't think I've ever had better times. So, anyways,
I just marvel at how close you are to the toilet, no matter where you are in that bar.
if you spend one night in the bar, I think you'll be like, you know, you'll get it. And if you're there on a good time, that will be.
Well, I just hope that's kind of like an unwritten rule. It's number one only in that toilet.
Oh, who do we have here? Ladies and
Uh-oh.
gentlemen, the first visit on camera of the lovely Stanley. Kim Stanley.
Oh, look at that. No, real
Oh,
celebrity. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Look
Stanley.
at him.
Look at him, folks. He is like
Look at him.
absolutely dreamlike. And I must say, Rhiannon and I have been saying he is tickling more fisherman bones than
Oh, look at that.
he's an absolute dream come true as far as his personality is concerned.
Does he have dark points on the end of his paws?
He's got look at the back of his
Yeah,
ears are like dark black with like
I
these
know.
beautiful eyes on it. His tail is big and fluffy and has like black sides. Here, mommy.
Yeah, he's so young. He's so young. Those points are going to get darker.
Yeah.
His
Well,
snout, and his hands, and everything.
yeah, he's only 5 months old. And
Yeah, I don't
what's
like
really
him.
cool is that they're getting along together with the cats. You know, the first thing that you worry about is that your cat's going to get along with the other cat. And for me, that was like I was so worried at first about, you know, how they're going to get along. And I always find that that's like I feel so worried for the other cat. But so Stanley, what's great about him is that yeah, look at he's going to become darker. It's kind of cool. You know, hi Stan. Hi buddy. Yeah. He's a talker. And that's one thing I like about him. But he likes to get into all these crazy poses too. He's already like a, you know, look at this.
What an idiot.
Oh,
Look at him.
where is he? Oh, hey, buddy. So
Big sister.
Tiger's chilling. She's okay, and Connie's okay. So as long as
Connie
they're okay,
Roberts.
yeah, as long as they're all okay, which they seemingly are, then we're good to go. But we'll be hearing more from Stanley.
How is Connie's foot?
Huh?
Is Connie all healed with her feet?
Is Connie what?
Her feet. Are her feet okay?
Oh yeah, they are, as a matter of fact. Thanks for asking. Yeah, she had to have an operation on one of her foot, and basically, you would never know that now. She seems to be all better now. But hey, this week is the 20th anniversary of Greater Wrong and the Right. Can you believe that?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Good Lord.
I've been seeing
Good
some
Lord.
wonderful pictures online. Thanks, Joe Birasak, for this wonderful collage of your works. Great colors. Yeah, no, it's hard to believe that, you know, 24 years, Scully, since we did the reformation of Doomsday, and then 20 years since we released this album. I saw this sketch by, I didn't get full name, but of Skinny Puppy. Complete. I mean, if I was going to get a tattoo, there's one right there. Good work on that. Big up to you. There's the signature. And then I believe another Birasak one. But meeting up with Bill and Reese and talking Cyberactive. It seems that there's a lot of heat under our asses right now, and it might be time to step up and do something fun. And
Damn straight.
yeah, that's what you should do. Is you should tell your friends about it if they haven't heard about it, because like the only way that it's going to happen is if people sort of speak up and say we want to have Cyberactive come and play here. I've said that before about everything, but like, hey, that's the way it works, man. Right, Scully?
Yes, Mom.
We won't be playing your theater for a while, I figure, unless we get busy.
Well, hopefully, maybe there's a co-headliner kind of thing.
Maybe we could
Possibly.
tour with Otoboke Beaver.
That would be cool. They
I
still
heard,
play they still do any more Live Nation venues, man.
I heard that they opened for the Chili Peppers, and
Oh, really?
I'm thinking to myself, man, I think I like them a lot better than the Chili Peppers.
I think you and I saw Frusciante's first gig with them.
We did.
Yeah.
I've always told him that too. I've said, John, somehow miraculously we were at your first show.
Yeah.
Really? It was
Yeah.
like, it was because Capitol Records took us to a party, remember? And it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
at
It was,
John
we
Hanson
had
Ford Theater.
we had a day off before the show.
Yeah, and
went.
so we went, and it was what's really funny is there's not a lot of gigs at that venue.
Yeah, I've never gigged there ever. That's the only time I've ever been in there.
Very rare to see a gig there. And I wish that they would do more. I don't know why they don't. Maybe it's a neighborhood noise thing. But it's just up the street from Hollywood Bowl, and it's like a mini version of it, and it's kind of cool. I remember the Chili Peppers seemed to rock it that night.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still a bit on the fence about the Chili Peppers. What was cool though is that I sent text to John Frusciante when we were in Tokyo, because he was also in Tokyo, and he hit me up just like casual. Hey, guy next door. I'm like, hey John, I'm in Tokyo too. He's like, hey Kev, I finished the show. It was okay. I'm feeling kind of low. I'm gonna go take a vitamin drip. So it's like kind of cool. I was trying to see what would be the likelihood of getting John to come down to visit Barai, because like the day we got Danny down there, it just changed the perspective of everybody in that bar.
Ooh, should
Yeah.
have John on the. You should have John on the chat.
Yeah, well, actually, I've asked John, and I have a number of friends that basically, they're just not basically, guys like Maynard, or guys like Gary Newman, or guys like John, or guys like even Aaron Funk, or guys like that are very more private-y guys, and if they're going to do an interview, it's going to be a typical interview for a record company or something like that. But when we get talking with me, I have approached the idea, but I don't want to push it. I'm not like one of these guys that wants to push it down somebody's throat, even though I have asked Gary Newman twice. And
Hey, David Sylvian. You got to get David Sylvian.
David Sylvian, I asked Steve the drummer, Steve
Jansen,
Jansen,
his brother.
and he again, these guys are too closed up. But whatever. I wouldn't want to. I get offered to do these things, and I don't do them. So it's like I know how it
Steve-
feels.
Steve
And now we've
Jansen
got
is David.
other guys that are doing chats now that are interviewing more people. So maybe like some people will come out and do some more chats. We never know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think it's
Leave it to
becoming
them.
more common. Yeah.
I want to focus on things like tutorials, as Rihanna says. Tutorials.
That's
I
a
want
good
to
idea.
focus on tutorials. Well, no, it's kind of like you know, I could I think it would be more interesting for me to say talk about you know, something like how to work a TR-808 drum machine with a sequencer and a trigger out. Wouldn't that be more
Yeah.
interesting than me, say, interviewing said guy from said band that I don't really, I don't
Watching
really
you
know
work
that
an 808 would be a
well?
great
Yeah.
fucking
I
thing.
mean, there's a lot of gear that I could go through. I could go through the history of gear we've used. I could go through the real gear that we've used and show you how to use it. I think that might be interesting. But then
Yeah,
as
I think that's
well,
a must be.
when a chat comes up, basically do that as well. But don't just like always be like having to talk with people. I swear to God now, other than the people I've mentioned, I've interviewed almost everybody that I know and had them come out of their shell even. It's Stephen Gilmore and a lot of people that basically were apprehensive to talk about anything. And so that was kind of been my goal. So I think like the Patreon thing in general is kind of cool in that, 6 years, what kind of blows me away is this the right one? No, that's not the right one. I gotta find the right one here. Over 6 years, we've lost a guy, Phil Western, that when was first starting, doing this, I could go into the studio while we're working on Unknown Room with Phil Western. And I thought like that, the best thing to do with the Patreon channel is to, yeah, do stuff like this where you're actually making music and like being in the studio. It's kind of unbelievable now though that like, with Phil gone, that like looking back at the beginning of Patreon, that there was this time where, it was like, I remember not having an idea about exactly what to do yet, but being able to, you know, seeing that part, there was a part with Phil. Where is Phil gone? He's somehow invisible. But anyways, to come back and look, if you guys look at way back to the beginning, you'll see that some of the streams are kind of like a little bit less format oriented, a little more musical oriented from the studio. Yeah, so anyways, it's kind of sad, to miss just, Phil Western's been gone for 5 years. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
I know.
5 years.
Well, going on 6 years. I think like about 2 years ago, this ball was found in the yard. Yeah, no, actually, you're right. It was just after he died, so it would be like 4 years ago. This ball, someone, I think our gardener cleared some stuff, and then all of a sudden this ball came rolling out. Tell me that doesn't look like Phil Western. So
The smile.
yeah, we call him Phil the Ball, and basically he lives in the backyard, all taken care of now. So if you want to go and talk with Phil, you can go sit next to the pool and say hi to Phil with the greatest amount of respect. A great musician, a great friend, and missed dearly, along with Dwayne and Al. Isn't that weird that all of our like guys like Chubby, Duck, Phil Western, all these guys, like critical friends,
Sasha.
Sasha. Well, the list goes on and on. I mean, Jeremy Inkle, Dave Jackson,
Yep.
So many
Yep.
people dying way too young and way before their time. So sad. But yeah, Phil Western, man. Think about him all the time. I don't know. The 6 years of Patreon has been a kind of interesting thing because throughout the whole time that I've been, throughout the whole time that I've been doing this, I've been working on something that I thought was going to come to fruition, was going to come to be far before it did, and that was a Brat module. the Brat module has taken a better part of this whole 6 years. And also what you'll find on my Patreon is pretty much the lengthy history of Brat. That's right, folks. It is now finally culminated into where I've made this synthesizer. And it's basically
Oh, look at that.
yeah, using the Nifty Keys keyboard, I have taken two Brat units and made a MIDI controllable keyboard that has MIDI. I mean, I'm playing MIDI as well as I have our voice tail here for extra filtering duties. I just have a mixer here from Plan B, Peter Grenader's company. But yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh.
yeah, it's kind of like amazing flexibility in the sense that I always had had just been triggering the Pearl Concussion and my Brap up till now, basically with triggers. But basically at this point, I really, really, really can play it like a synth. Here, I got a better recording for you here. And I propose with this a Brap contest. And what I don't mean a competition over like who's better or who's whatever, but what I'd like to hear is there's 50 of you out there that have a Brap. And I would like to hear 1 minute of your favorite piece that you can make and send it to me here at, I'll put the email address, send it to me at ckey@sbcglobal.net, and I will make a track. Let's agree on a BPM.
Let's.
Give us a BPM, Scully.
132.
Okay, he said 132 it is, folks. This is I got to show you this though. It sounds so meaty.
I would not stop playing with that thing now.
All I can say is that that's just scratching the surface there. That's just running the arpeggiator. But like the greatest thing is that, I've been using it with like, hand played melodies and stuff and all sorts of things you can play. I've been using it with the Cylon sequencer. I've been using it with its own, it has a sequencer within this keyboard here that you can program the notes, but it's pretty sick. I will say that, all in all, it's kind of been my mission to get everybody's to them. And then to have one for myself, that's my unit, I guess you might want to call it my unit. And so what I propose is a Brap competition, not a competition.
A battle.
Brap battle. That's a good one, Scully. Brap battle.
Battle. There has to be a prize. There has to be
I
a
will
winner.
put notes here on Patreon. I'll post this coming right after this about Brap battle. And I'll give you the address to send your file to. And you picked the tempo, which I'm very happy with.
It's a good tempo. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a very good. It's danceable. It might be a bit fast. You sure you want to go at 132? It'll definitely up.
It's got to have some challenge to it.
Yeah.
You gotta lean into it.
I'm also going to post on Patreon a couple more journeys. Like I've already posted the journey to Kamakura and Enoshima, where you saw that we walked around there and then we rode bicycles all the way to the island and went around the island. If you didn't see it, it's on the Patreon. But we got a couple more coming up. That's one's just going around parts of Tokyo, and then one going with Bal. Love our guest Bal, my most favorite people ever, I have to say. Mickey and Utaro. Scully, you saw Bal, didn't you?
Yeah, they came to the theater.
Absolutely. They played, in my estimation, they played one of their most ferocious shows that I ever witnessed at the Fillmore with us in 2013, if you can believe that. Now 11 years ago. But we have a fabulously close friendship. And as a matter of fact, I was almost thinking like Mickey might be the perfect guy to call upon for some guitar for some new Cyber Active. So we'll see what's going on with that. But as I keep saying, we've scheduled a return gig. The 20th year anniversary of Barai, I believe, is going to be next March 28th, 2025 in Tokyo, Japan. And there shall be a party at a venue, I believe it will be at a place called Mars, if it's the same place we booked that at before. And if you're able to make it to Japan, that is the time where everyone should go. So, yeah, Scully, that's the time. Can you save up your coin by then?
I'm gonna start rubbing
Hey,
my coins together. Yeah.
one thing I really have to say is it's so darn affordable in Japan right now that it's so encouraging.
How is that possible? I don't
I don't
understand
even
why that
know.
is.
Kokoichi is like $4.80. Like our go-go curry was $6 each.
But you know what cancels it out?
What?
The airfare prices are
Oh, the
double.
airfare prices get you now.
Oh,
But the
really?
hotel's cheap. Everything's cheap once you get there. Everything's cheap. Like, I mean, you can spend money there if you want to.
Oh,
Actually, I
yeah.
don't know why anybody would. The better food is the stuff that is cheaper. But I'm just saying, a lot of people say, when should I go to Japan? Well, my my best advice is don't go in the summertime because you will absolutely melt between, say, don't go between the months of July to September. After September through to November is a fairly good time. September gets a bit of rainy, as does June. The summer is like kind of like introduced and exited with a rain season. So that's what cools it down, and that's what brings the humidity. The best months to go, obviously, are March to June. We either go from March to June or September through November. So I wouldn't go in January unless you want to see snow, possibly. And I wouldn't go in August unless you want it to be Jamaica, but in a city. No way, not again. That's the reason they invented a handkerchief, was to live in Japan. You really need that handkerchief there. But Scully, it's been super good to see you here.
Well, I'm at work today. It's nice to have this little break from the day that I've had today. That's for damn sure.
Thanks you guys for the comments. Terry O, 6 years flew by. Ted Week, congrats on 6 years. Appreciate this. Alejo, this is the best Patreon ever. Oh, thank you. Joey Galvin, thank you. Max Matson wants to ask about Stinkfist. That's a Dave Ogilvy rave remix. So I won't be going near that one. Maybe Rave will do something with that. I believe that was something exclusive he did for Tool on his own. Tim, congrats. Your Sunday chats and discussions about experimental artists like yourself, Tom Ellard, Edward, Bourbonese Quack, Controlled Bleeding. Big inspiration. He's got a new Twitch series, as does Joey have a new series. So all these people from Patreon all developing series and getting inspired. That's a good thing. And keep it rolling. And yeah, Tom Ellard, man. The couple of chats I've had with him, or the few chats I've had with Edward Caspell on here,
Oh, I love Edward.
who could ask for someone nicer or more, just more great to have a chat with? By the way, I'd like to wish Mark Spivey a happy birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday,
Yeah, big up to Mr. Mark Spivey on your birthday out there, big fella over there in England.
big
And
fella.
hopefully we'll be connecting up again for another mutual chat. Where's Stanley?
I can hear him.
You want to see Stanley again?
Yep, I
By the
do.
way, this
Uh, I want to hear him.
Here is on the Chuo line. Actually, is it Chuo? Chuo Sun line in Koenji. Very nice little town out there. And this is Stanley. Stanley, say hi to everybody.
Stan the man.
Stan the man. Oh, look at that tail.
Look at that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Hi, Stan.
He also has very brown things in the back. You know what I'm talking about? Big balls.
Nuggets.
He's got some nuggets back there. Fortunately, I hear that those may have to go at some point, but
No, they just turn them inside out.
they turn them inside out?
Oh.
That's not fair.
Or they reverse them.
Oh.
That's not fair. Well,
Oh.
I'd
On
like
that
to,
note,
I'd like to say, Scully, what you got anything more to add here?
no, just happy 6 years of Patreon
Thank you very much. And thank you
and
for the Alex Randall of the Kevin Letterman show.
yes.
Yes. Thanks all you guys. Priscilla, nice to see you out there. Evan and Web of Weeps, you are a classic.
Belladonna.
Jessica, big Jessica out there, blue Jessica. And Tarantula, Mars is an awesome place. It most certainly is. Absolutely, like it's one of these clubs where the stage is about as big as the venue holds. So like literally people can can really have a good gig there without worrying. It's the best place to see Bow too. Matt Gerbil, I remember when they came to LA, yes, Bow was absolutely on fire in LA too. This is the first band that we played with where I really thought that they kicked our ass each night when we played. What do you think, Scully? You think they kicked our ass? Did we lose it?
I can't say that they kicked your ass because it's an apples and oranges type of thing.
Truly is,
I can-
but I still think that was really amazing is that Rihanna's pointed this out, that Utaro is so shy that basically she was worried about the shows and then she got out there and she was ferocious. She was literally like climbing the security fences to try and sing to the people and it just blew my mind anyway.
The
So-
one thing that they did do is that they were a successful opening act. And so that means you've got to kick ass. That the opening for Skinny Puppy is not an easy slot to have. And they definitely came out and put people on their back foot, and that's impressive.
That's
So they-
absolutely correct, Scully. It has at sometimes been an insane challenge for some bands, and I guess maybe that's possibly why they get worried because sometimes it's been known that some of the artists that have opened for us have got pegged with ice and various things. Yeah.
And you think of like a guy like Otto, it's just like one guy and a pair of Speedos. You know what I mean? And he just goes out there and he kills,
Did you see that Otto's been touring lately with Mike Patton and Mr. Bungle?
Wow.
What a combination you have there. I seriously think Mike Patton is brilliant. If anybody has a connection to Mike Patton, well, hey, I should ask Otto. He'd be a good guy to have on the chat here. And do you know what a superstar band he has? He's got like Scott from Anthrax.
Scott Ian, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the original Slayer drummer.
Dave.
Dave Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure who's the other guitar player that he's got. I think who's the other guitar player that they have with him? Some very wicked guy too.
We had them here a few months ago.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I worked it, of course.
You worked it, so you saw Otto.
No, not with Otto. Otto wasn't on it yet. They're from here. They're kind of from here. Mike Patton's from here, so this is kind of where they start their tour, I think.
Man, I love Mike Patton as well, and I'm telling you, one of the best concerts that I've ever seen is the Fantomas when they had Terry Bozzio playing drums. And there's another guy, Terry Bozzio. Terry Bozzio.
Yeah.
Basically had the biggest kit I think I've ever seen in my life, and they toured it over to Switzerland, and somehow it's on YouTube. Look it up, Fantomas live in Switzerland with Terry Bozzio. One of the
I have
greatest
a,
shows ever that Mike Patton's ever done.
I have a great Terry Bozzio story, real quick. He was playing with Dweezil Zappa, who was doing the Zappa Does Zappa tour, and he was the night before they played here. He tore a muscle in his bicep,
Oh no.
right? And I was helping out as drum tech and stuff. And the one thing that was really cool, all his cymbals were like signature series. They all had his name on it. And if you look at his kit, he literally has like 35 cymbals of all different shapes and sizes, and they're all signature Terry Bozzio. But the really cool thing is that he came out and he still performed one-handed, and it was amazing. There's an old Frank Zappa song called Punky's Whips where he actually sings, and it's fucking hilarious, and he did it.
That doesn't surprise me that he could do that. In my estimation, I believe he is probably the most wickedest drummer to exist. I mean,
Danny
Dan,
Danny
Dan,
Carey,
Danny, I mean, is also, right. When you cross that epsilon into the next level, like these guys have, you can't really almost put them in, they're become an artist of such a high degree that, they're painting pictures with their drumming. They're not just drumming, they're performing elements that are previously deemed impossible.
yeah.
As I said, for me, one of the biggest compliments I ever got was from Terry Bozzio when I left the stage of the Last Rites tour, and he was back there, and he was the guy backstage that I walked up into, and he said, "You just killed it." And I was like, "Wow, that's a compliment coming from you." And he said, "No, seriously, that's the biggest compliment I ever received from anybody."
Yeah, I remember
But
that Palladium. The
I am
Palladium.
nowhere near the caliber of those guys. So I think that there's always like, a the higher level of respect that these guys have obtained is like there's just, it needs to be pointed out. Man, I can't stop thinking about this movie though. If anybody doesn't take me seriously, The Great Yokai War, Takashi Mike, go look it up on Apple TV tonight. If you don't, then you won't. But like if you do, then you prepared for quite a trip. Scully, it's really good to see you. And I really do hope that you can venture out of San Francisco and come down here to make a visit shortly.
Yeah. I've got a lot of downtime in the middle of summer, which is unbelievable. So I'm definitely planning on maybe some runs around, maybe a little train action down
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the southern part of the state, and we'll hang out and eat some tacos or something. Come over there and cook some food.
Web of Weeps, I'm very proud of you. This is a movie I know you will love this. What's really funny is that yokai folklore in Japanese mythology is not something that, I know a lot about, like Kappa and all of the various yokai. But what's really interesting about this is that you learn a bit about each yokai. Scully's like, what's a yokai? Go find out. I think it's a fantastic. It blows my mind. Also, I'm hearing that the Godzilla -1 movie is now on Netflix, so I believe that I have a date
Ooh,
with Rihanna for that.
that'll be good.
Have you seen it?
Hopefully. No, I'm hoping it'll be good.
Cyberactive with Mike Patton and Otto. Well, of course that would be. It'd be like, yeah, absolutely. As I said, you guys need to talk out there and basically get stuff stirred up.
Write your
And
congressman.
yeah, until then, absolutely. The Great Yokai Battle of Akihabara. Well, I think that it's just called the Great Yokai Battle, and I think it's made in 2006. It's not a new movie, but if you look up the other movies of Takashi Mike, you will not be disappointed. He has a giant list of greats. And yeah, I encourage you all. Corinne Miller, is that Corinne?
Uh, Beggs would be her last name.
Corinne, is that you or is that not you? We're wondering if Oh, hello then, Corinne Miller. We don't know your last name, Corinne. Corinne.
What?
Have you ever noticed that Kevin is always the king at mispronouncing people's names? Yeah, like Itchy the Killer, absolutely. Itchy the Killer is an absolute essential. Isn't there another one? I think it's called the Tokyo Vampire Killers or something like that. Hey, and don't forget, Dre is also reminding us, Images in Vogue next week live
Oh, yes.
with the return of Gary Smith. Dre, will you do us a favor since you're going to be there with your lovely friend Kat? Can you guys capture at least a full song that we can play on Patreon, like Fade Away? I would love to hear Fade Away. I hear they're going to do it. Let's get a thumbs up from Dre on that. Dre and or Kat. Okay, he's got it. Great. Okay,
You got it.
Recording. So hopefully we'll be able to feature a song from that. But I believe that's on the 8th, is it not? 6 days from now?
Plenty of shots of Gary.
Big shout out to Gary Blair Smith, returning to Images in Vogue after what, 15 years, I believe it is, to the helms of the keyboards with Joe and Glenn and the rest of the guys. And
God, I wish I could see that.
yeah, I wish I could be there too. But we'll be there in spirit. And if anybody's wants to live stream it and send us a link, then let us know because I will post that. Yeah, and get a heads up for that too. Thanks, Dre. Okay, Scully, I think that's it. I think I got to go eat something, but big up to all you people joining us here. Scully, I'm expecting a witty comment. Oh, I know what it is, Scully. Scully, what did you think? Like, come on, let's at least talk about one last thing. And just briefly too, because we're not political guys, but I think that's exactly how it is. And returning back here to this whole nonsense about everything is rigged if you don't win. Hey, I'm going to play the lottery, and if I don't win, it's rigged. Wait, it might be. But hey, Scully,
Yeah.
what's your? We don't even want to get into this. No.
Oh,
We'll talk on that. So yeah, folks. Sunday live chat. I'd like to thank you for the support over the 6 years for the Patreon and the Sunday live chat. And let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right.
Let's do it.
Hey, Norton, let's
All
do it again. Bring up to all you out there, and thank you for the support. And Scully, have a good Sunday.
You too, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too.
See ya.